Guys, what is going on? I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are staying safe. Just a quick update. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're well and safe. But it looks like here in the UK, we're gonna go into another lockdown. I think the PM's gonna address us at 8 o'clock today in a press conference, and it looks like we're gonna go into another lockdown here. I don't know what it's like in the countries you're from. Leave your comments. Let me know where you what's the situation like where you're from. But it does look like here in the UK we're gonna go back into a lockdown. Um, but let's see what happens. Guys, I want to do a video about Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury has come out and said that he's going to wipe the floor with AJ. He's going to take him out in 1 or 2 rounds, and he doesn't feel that, because AJ said he's going to take his head off his shoulders, and Tyson is basically saying, well, a lot of people say a lot of things, but they don't back it up in the ring. He goes, AJ's not confident, and he goes, I don't believe he's that confident. I believe that, his last two performances were shaky. He didn't look too good. He didn't look too great. And I'm gonna knock him out within 1 or 2 rounds. I just believe that. He basically said he's vulnerable and he's gonna take full advantage of that. And he goes, I've had my last two fights. I looked great. And he goes, in his last two fights, he looked terrible. And the momentum's with me. Do I think Tyson Fury is going to knock out AJ within 1 or 2 rounds? Absolutely not. Tyson Fury is trying to get into AJ's head, which he's a master of, and I do believe that when the fight gets signed and sealed, I do believe he's gonna get to AJ. AJ, I feel like I think he's the perfect guy for Tyson to get under mentally, but then you can say AJ can brush it off as well. Plus, he's seen what Tyson's done in the past with the other guys like Wilder, Klitschko, and other guys that he's fought. So maybe AJ will look into that and think that, just shrug it off. I don't know. It depends how he takes it. Sometimes when you're in the heat of the moment, it can get to you. Tyson Fury is a guy that can kind of get to you. I thought Gerald Miller, when he was coming out with a smack, at times you could tell AJ was getting heated. And he was kind of getting to him a little bit, and AJ kind of acted out of character in that press conference. So let's see when the fight's announced. I do think that the fight's not going to happen, especially with the situation going on here in the UK with the lockdown and around the world. I do think that this fight happening is very unlikely this year. I do think we're going to struggle this year with all the COVID. I think this is what's going to happen, and what happened last year is going to happen this year. I don't think anything's going to be thing. We know that boxing has been cancelled in the UK in January. So there's going to be no fights in January in the UK. I'm not sure if that's the same with America. I don't think it is. I think the fights will still go on there. But that's really bad news, and that's just, we don't know how long that's going to be delayed for. It might be a couple of months, It's worrying times. But coming back onto the subject of Joshua Fury, I think Fury's doing his up best to get under Joshua's skin and get into his head. But in terms of him taking him out in 1 or 2 rounds, absolutely not. He's not taking Joshua out in 1 or 2 rounds. Joshua's a good fighter, very skilled fighter, and Tyson Fury. People say, is Tyson Fury underestimating AJ? I don't believe he is. I think Tyson Fury is just saying all these things, trying to get in AJ's skin. Does Tyson Fury really believe he's going to take AJ out in 1 or 2 rounds? No, I don't believe he is going to take him out in 1 or 2 rounds. I don't think that's his goal. I just think he wants AJ to be aggressive. He wants AJ to come onto him because he knows that Tyson Fury is a very elusive fighter. He's very difficult to hit. And I think that's going to be a big problem. If he fights on the back foot like he did against Klitschko, that's going to be a big problem in itself for Joshua, just because Tyson Fury is very hard to hit. He's very hard to hit more than one shot. Very elusive fighter. A lot of people say, oh, look how he struggled against Otto Wallin. And listen, man, Tyson Fury might have struggled against Otto Wallin, but he got the job done. And that's what Tyson Fury does. He doesn't look great sometimes. Tyson Fury is an erratic character. But when it's the biggest fight of his life, he's going to turn up. Don't expect the Tyson that fought Otto Wallin not to turn up. He dismantled Deontay Wilder, and he was the underdog in that fight. I don't want to hear Deontay. Deontay's, for me, up there as one of the best heavyweights in the world. So I don't care. People, a lot of AJ fans come onto the comment section and say, "Oh well, Wilder never fought anybody. Wilder, well, trust me, this: if Wilder fought Joshua, trust me, he wouldn't be a massive underdog. It'd be even fight. And if Wilder lands, I think we know what happens. However, I think Joshua's got better boxing skills than Wilder, and I think he brings a bit different problem to Tyson Fury than what Wilder have. Wilder, he's not good at setting up his punches. He loads up on that right hand, and it's quite, for someone like Tyson Fury, who's very fast and very elusive, he's easy to get out of the way. AJ's different fighter. AJ doesn't have the head movement. He's very static. That's why the Wilder fight's very dangerous for AJ, because I think there's a greater chance Wilder would land his big punches or his big right hand. Whereas I think on Fury, it's difficult. AJ's physically bigger than Wilder. He's stronger, like size. So he shouldn't be mauled around. Although I do think Fury's the bigger man, I don't think he should be mauled around like Wilder was. AJ's naturally, 240, 250, 260 pounder. Although Tyson might be 270, 280, AJ still should be able to compete when it comes to the inside fighting, clinching. He shouldn't be mauled around. Although, like I said, I think he's the smaller man. I don't think he should be bullied like Wilder was. But again, Tyson Fury saying that he feels he's going to take AJ out. Listen, I am going with a Tyson Fury stoppage. I think in this AJ fight, if it was to happen, which I'm not sure it will. But if it does happen, I do think Tyson Fury takes out AJ late. That's my prediction. Some people will say they feel AJ takes him out. Everyone's got their own opinion. It's an opinion. It's not me hating on AJ. I just believe that Tyson Fury has got a very difficult style for AJ. He's very tricky. He's very awkward. And I think it's a big problem. But, there's AJ fanboys that just think that, he's going to go in there and blast Tyson Fury out. It's not the case. Tyson Fury is a very difficult fighter to get to. Don't get it twisted. If you're having confidence because of the Otto Wallin performance, nonsense. And I don't think Tyson Fury should be looking at the Ruiz performance and saying, well, AJ's a bum because he got knocked out by Ruiz. No, it doesn't work like that. He had an off night. He came back. He got over that hurdle, beat Ruiz in the rematch, and although he's not looked I won't say he's looked himself. I won't say I think obviously when you get knocked out, it has an impact on you. You're a bit more gun shy. He's a bit more wary now to throw. He's not as reckless as he was prior, which can be a good thing and a bad thing, depending on how you're looking at it. Now, I felt against Pulev, I felt that was a negative just because I think he could have taken out Pulev a lot earlier, because I don't think offensively Pulev was much of a threat. He's not a big puncher, and I think AJ could have taken him out a lot quicker. But against somebody that's a lot more dangerous, i.e. a Wilder, a Tyson Fury, maybe not in punch power, but a lot more dangerous, a lot more clever, boxing IQ a lot better. He's a lot quicker, going to land a lot more punches. He's heavier, bigger. That in itself is a problem. So AJ being a lot more smarter is probably the better thing in those fights. It's just whether he can outmaster the master, which is Tyson Fury, when it comes to boxing. I just think Tyson Fury's got too many physical advantages. I feel that if AJ wants to win that fight, he's going to have to take the bull by the horns and take it to Tyson Fury and stick it on him. I think he's going to have to be a bit more reckless, and you're going to have to see the old AJ in that fight to win. But at times, he's going to have to be smart. But if the fight's not going his way, then he's going to have to show the old AJ, right? Early on, it's all right. He can box with Fury. That's not a problem. But there'll come a point where if this not working for him, mid to late, he's going to have to take the bull by the horns and look to take Tyson Fury apart. And that could work in his favor, or that could backfire. Because if he's going reckless, he's going to leave himself open, and then that's going to mean Tyson Fury is going to be able to land more shots. At the same time, by him being a lot more aggressive, there's a great chance that he could land something on Tyson Fury, hurt him, and we know that AJ puts good punches together. He can put combination. He's quite fast. Although Tyson Fury is not easy to catch with more than one punch, if AJ can hurt him and wobble him, then he may be able to land a lot more his combination punches. And if that's the case, then AJ will take Fury out. But I think Fury is very tricky, and AJ is going to have to, like I said, have a very good game plan. Maybe that game plan will be is break his body. AJ may have to go down to his body to slow Fury down, because if Fury's moving and using his legs and moving around, it's going to be very difficult for Joshua. Very, very difficult for Joshua. And one thing I have seen with Joshua, he has become a very good body puncher. He goes down to the body. I saw against Povetkin, he was dummy into the body. If you look at the way he knocked Povetkin out as well, he was dumb into the body, and then he went to the body, dummied. So he was jab into the body, jab into the body, jab into the body, and then he dummied a jab to the stomach, and he came right over the top with the right hand. So AJ is very good at throwing body shots. He's even when I saw early on in his career against Glenn Johnson, he smashed that body. And he was going to have to smash Tyson Fury's body to slow him down, because otherwise Tyson Fury is going to be in a very elusive target. And we know that Tyson Fury is very hard to hit. That's his speciality. He's very elusive, very fast for a big heavyweight. And when you've got someone that big and he's so elusive, that's hard to deal with, if I'm honest with you. Very, very hard to deal with. But in terms of Tyson saying he's going to take AJ out in 1 or 2 rounds, I don't see it. He's not taking AJ out in 1 or 2 rounds. And listen, I believe Tyson wins the fight, but I don't think he's taking AJ out. AJ's too good a boxer, and he's too dangerous for Tyson to be reckless early on, because when AJ's fresh, he's going to have... there's going to be a lot of danger in that ring, because AJ can really crack and punch. So Tyson Fury early on is going to have to box smart. I think both of them are going to have to box smart early. But I think because of AJ's punching power, I think Tyson Fury is going to have to be a lot smarter early on, because AJ is going to have a lot of venom on those punches. Now, AJ has shown even later on in the fight, he's dangerous against Klitschko. He's shown that he can still punch. But I think early on, especially if you go reckless with AJ, there's a chance he could take you out. Obviously, as he tires, he's going to be a lot slower. His punches, Tyson's going to see it a lot easier. But early on, he's going to be very sharp and very quick and very powerful. And if you go reckless against him, you're getting taken out. So I don't think Fury's going to do that, and I think Fury's too smart to do that. But yeah, it's a good fight, man. It's a good fight. It wouldn't shock me if AJ pulls it off. I personally have Fury winning, but again, like I said, it's just an opinion. Some of you people get too wound up about an opinion. It's an opinion of what I've seen in their careers. I think Fury wins. That don't mean I'm an AJ hater. I don't know why I have to keep explaining myself. It's just an opinion, man. It's just an opinion. But sometimes, fanboys don't like to hear what other people's opinions are if it doesn't suit their agenda. If it's not what they want to hear. It's just an opinion. That's all it is. It's not hating towards AJ. AJ's a great fighter. But again, I think Tyson Fury can beat. I personally think Tyson Fury beats him. But I'm not saying, when you guys say that you think AJ's going to win, I don't call you a Fury hater, do I? It works both ways. So I don't know why I get thrown that. But at the end of the day, I think it's a great fight. I think it's a fight that needs to happen. Whether I don't think it will happen. I think the Wilder stuff with Fury is a problem. And I think this COVID stuff is probably going to stop it from happening as well. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, guys. What do you guys make of Tyson Fury saying he's going to wipe AJ out in 2 rounds? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.